Okay, in Antigone, sex and power play major roles in the way Antigone and her sister are viewed and treated. In specific, Creon's reaction to Antigone's defiance by burying her brother shows how Creon believes it's important to be respected and maintain fear in the public, so they still view him as, an authoritative leader. Um, he shows his concern um by saying he has to punish Antigone because, he says, "Who will be the man then if I do not punish her?" Saying that, what will that say about him as a man if he does nothing in the situation? So yeah, in that way he's preserving his authoritative male dominant image. When Ismene arrives to attempt to take some blame for Antigone's actions, the king seems unable to comprehend the emotional sentiment Ismene may feel for her sister. He scoffs at the gesture and comments that Ismene has just recently lost her mind and that the quote unquote the other one never had one at all. Saying that, Ismene's decision to stick up for her sister shows that she's like legitimately crazy and that Antigone probably just was completely stupid to start with. So in that way, he's definitely majorly belittling and undermining the intelligence of both females, not really looking at the, not calculated side of the situation and kind of viewing everything from like a very non-emotional stance and just attributing everything that Ismine's trying to do to being stupid. Um, so like this like kind of mindset, I guess, could still be seen in today's society. Even though this is like post-sexual revolution of the 60s and 70s, and then feminism kind of resurfaced again, like, in the 90s. I can draw from a personal experience. I had a friend growing up whose family had a lot of money, and the father was definitely the main source of income. And while the mother was permitted to have a part-time job, it wasn't really anything substantial. Um, it was very clear that the father's word was final, and whatever he suggested was the correct mode of action. The woman had expressed an interest in continuing her education, but the man kind of, looked down on it, was just kind of like, well, that's not really necessary. We went out to dinner one night and we were sitting there, and the mother saw this Muslim woman wearing, I think it's called a hijab or something, the traditional head covering, and made some kind of remark about how disgraceful it was that the woman felt obligated to do that and how the men are just enforcing their crazy rules on the woman. And I couldn't really help but kind of chuckle a bit because it just really seemed like super ironic to me that she thought that that was so crazy, but didn't really realize that she's being like subject to the same kind of dynamic in her own life. Um, so, and that kind of dynamic is one that you can still find in relationships today, like in our culture. Especially in the South, we have really strong Baptist influence. Women kind of have the silent responsibility, to do things like not get pregnant, you know. And the man's role in like, probably like, getting pregnant out of wedlock is like hardly even scrutinized at all. It's pretty much the woman's responsibility. Like, you get pregnant, you deal with this, just don't let it happen. And, of course, if you want to look, really into the finer details, like, even abortion in this area, like, it's just like, we just don't want you to do anything. Like, there's no right choice for you. Anything you do is going to be looked down upon. And anything, even if you do try and like, make something better out of your situation, like what could be viewed as courageous in men is typically viewed as just like being foolish if you're a woman. Um, So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just you know, pretty much just what, women are backed into a corner doing sometimes, and their input and stuff is sometimes, minimized because, we're not males, and males are supposed to be the ones who are making the money and, you know, calling the shots. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say about this.